It's easy if you try. No hell below us.
Emisión Cero, con Ricardo Fraguas.
Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Hello everyone, it is fantastic to join together again in Emisión Cero, your program dedicated to the information and promotion of sustainability, understood as an act of love, thinking about others to preserve our natural resources, take advantage of them for everyone's well-being, without compromising that the people, the future generations, can do the same. First of all, would like to say hello to our good friend John Cabanis from the United States. Today we're gonna talk about the US elections, hopefully the winning of love. John, how are you?
Very fine. It's just fantastic to be here this morning with, or I should say this afternoon, with you, Ricardo, and you, Jesus. And yes, let's hope that love and pride triumphs over fear and greed.
Fantastic words of wisdom. Hello, Jesus Valle, our friend and advisor in terms of research, development and innovation and much more. How are you, Jesus, from Lisbon?
Okay, I'm very, very well. It's a nice weather. It's nice weather here, but, well, you know, we are on confinement until the 3rd of November, but, well, very well.
Yeah, the pandemic is hitting us very hard also here in Europe and in Spain, coming back to the reduction of our movement and our social contacts to preserve the health of the most vulnerable. So it is also, in that way, an act of love. We're listening to the wise words of John Lennon in the fantastic version of our friends of Showpay Group. Imagine, says it very nicely and very clear. We can all live in peace and in harmony, taking care of each other and our mother nature. Imagine.
I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
And we are not tired of repeating it, that we can feel, because it is true and it is a fact, that we're one human family with a common destiny, and we can live as one.
Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one.
Can you feel it? Can you say it? Can you enjoy it? Live as one.
Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Live as one. Yeah, live as one. 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 Live as one.
Estás escuchando Emisión Cero, el programa que impulsa el cambio positivo, con Ricardo Fraguas.
We stand at a critical moment in Earth's history. A time when humanity must choose its future. As the world becomes increasingly interdependent and fragile, the future at once holds great peril, but also great promise. To move forward, we must recognize that in the midst of a magnificent diversity of cultures and life forms, yes, we are one human family and one Earth community with a common destiny. We must join together to bring forth a sustainable global society founded on the respect for nature, the universal human rights, economic justice, and a culture of peace. Towards this end, it is imperative that we, the peoples of Earth, declare our responsibility to one another, to the greater community of life, and to future generations. These are the wise words of the Earth Charter of the United Nations that we make yours and ours here in Emisión Cero at Radio Internacional. It seems that this tune called Newborn can bring us the sense of hope, that all the suffering of the people and the human race, have seen, particularly in the recent past, under slavery, only 100 years ago, that we recognize that is absolutely no sense to abuse in that way the life of others. That we can also recover that spirit that our invitee, our host today, John Cabanis, also in a way lived in the United States during the Vietnam War, even though you were very young, that we can all live in peace and harmony, and we can all exercise the human rights and live in freedom and take advantage of all the magnificent possibilities that Earth offers us to all live together in peace and harmony. All the young people of your generation fought and believed that that was possible, and we are very close. We got it in many places, but we're very close to really get it for everyone. And you're going through a very critical moment also of your history, of the history of all, with the next elections, yes, the next week, that can again make us recover that path that can help us all get there, live in peace and harmony, and exercise the human rights everywhere. And also now that we have achieved this agreement to stop the massive burning of fossil fuels, also take care of the mother nature that gives us life. John, am I wrong? Hello, how are you?
Very good. You're absolutely right, Ricardo. This is such an important election. It's important for human rights throughout the world. It's important for the environment. It's important for getting back to love and our sense of community. The turn that this country has taken away from its values in the last 4 years is unbelievable and just unacceptable. And it's just important that we take back our heart, we take back our values, and that we go from supporting brutal dictators to supporting universal human rights and helping people around the world as opposed to hurting people around the world. When President Obama was in office, for example, Joe Biden was tasked with helping the Central and South American countries with aid, with medical care. And under President Trump, all of that has been undone. We've forced the countries in South America and Central America to throw out the Cuban doctors. We've pulled money from, I think it's called the Pan American Health Organization.
It is.
That was so important in providing care for indigenous people. And that's just one example of you know, the harm that we've been doing and inflicting around the world under this administration. And it's just so important that we take a turn back to our values, both environmental and human rights.
Yeah, we're talking to John Cabanis, a good friend and a person of real sense and reason. Attorney, dedicated his life to help others fighting against Goliaths all around, helping people to make justice hidden normally under the abstract faces of big corporations. And we thank you for that, John. But also very implied in a lot of implication during this critical moment of your history in the United States and for the rest of the world. Your democracy is very big and still healthy. Imagine what had happened in the recent months and years, and you're still there, and you have the opportunity now to elect your president, and as you mentioned, to recover what we all want. Also, I want to believe from the rest of our family, or our human family, which is to see a bright light in the United States that can guide us, as you did many times in the past, to conquer that space of the exercise of the human rights all around, of peace and freedom and well-being for everyone. Because many don't want to recognize that we look upon all your very good, well done and taken steps in the recent past history in this sense. Jesus Valle, our friend and advisor of this program in terms of research, innovation, development, and much more. I don't know whether you agree with what I'm saying. Joining us from Europe, where we are talking. John is in the United States, and Jesus is in Lisbon. What are your thoughts about this idea?
Well, of course, it's very simple. We are a family living in different parts of the world. Of course, it's what we say in this program every week. My sensation now with the United States is that their politics and their behavior is so important for all the countries, because we are in a global world when we are all relation, and due to the investigation and to the improvements that the United States is giving to the humanity, to the whole world, they have a prominent position in the world now, and their behavior and how they live is affecting everybody, because we tell every day here in this program, we are only one family with different languages, with different situation, different cultures, but all we are the same. And what is happening to one of us is also affecting all the rest of the people.
We have a tremendous challenge with the pandemic, particularly those that are more vulnerable. Our thoughts are always with them. The people that is trying to escape from extreme poverty, and the people that is trying to escape from extreme violence. But we have another tremendous challenge, which is the preservation of life as we know it for the people to come. And we need the United States to keep on leading also that path, and that doesn't happen with the administration of Donald Trump. So we need the boat of love. John Cabanis shared with us a video that Michelle Obama, also with her millions of friends and followers, retweeted yesterday. That is expressing something that it may seem Jesus and friends of Europe strange for us in what we normally see during elections, because this video that we're going to share now live with all of you is asking for the vote of love. So it is fantastic, and we congratulate you, John. You are not afraid of talking about what is really important, what we normally share here also in this program, which is love. If there is something else, please, if anyone knows there is something more important than love, then be with the people you love and take care of the people you love, and love also the mother nature that give us life. Please let us know the revelation, because it's that, and you are not afraid of saying it even in presidential elections. This is the time to vote for love. Let us listen to it and comment on it.
Good evening. Ella Baker, a giant of the civil rights movement, left us with this wisdom: give people light, and they will find the way. Give people light. Those are words for our time. Just a week ago yesterday was the third anniversary of the events in Charlottesville. Close your eyes. Remember what you saw on television. Remember seeing those neo-Nazis. Remember seeing those Klansmen coming out of fields with lighted torches, veins bulging, spewing the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. Remember the violent clash that ensued between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. Remember what the president said when asked? He said there were, quote, very fine people on both sides. It was a wake-up call for us as a country, and for me, a call to action.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? And would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love?
What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. I think the whole world's addicted to the drama, only attracted to things that'll bring the trauma. Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the KKK. I can't believe they still hating blacks today. Cause if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. And to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate. And that's exactly how hate works and operates. Man, you gotta have love if to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love.
People killing, people dying, children hurting, you hear them crying. Can you practice what you preach? And would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? The love, the love. Where is the love? The love, the love, the love. Where is the love? The love, the love.
So the question for us is simple. Are we ready? I believe we are. We must be. We can choose a path of becoming angrier, less hopeful, more divided, a path of shadow and suspicion, or we can choose a different path and together take this chance to heal, to reform, to unite, a path of hope and light. This is a life-changing election. This will determine what America is going to look like for a long, long time.
Yes, it is.
Character is on the ballot. Compassion is on the ballot. Decency, science, democracy.
Yeah.
They're all on the ballot. Who we are as a nation, what we stand for, and most importantly, who we want to be. That's all on the ballot. And the choice could not be more clear.
Never forget that justice is what love looks like in public. Vote love.
Estás escuchando Emisión Cero, el programa que impulsa el cambio positivo, con Ricardo Fraguas.
We have shared this video produced by Black Eyed Peas and Jennifer Hudson to support Joe Biden presidency. Hopefully it reaches the hearts of everyone in the United States as it did ours, with tears in our eyes, just tears of joy to see it, because it is possible to recover that path in the United States, John.
You broke up a bit, Ricardo.
John, I was saying that it is possible to recover this path of light. Words very well said and very concise. We know that politicians, they have their words and the way of doing things, but we want to believe that this time is for sure, and Biden's presidency will bring this light and this decency and this compassion and this looking forward justice, economic justice that we're looking for, John.
Absolutely. There's much to unpack with that video. First of all, the invocation of the civil rights movement. Has there ever been, a greater discrepancy in America's founding principles of liberty and justice for all than that the original contradiction of slavery? Excuse me. And to have Martin Luther King as a shining example of love overcoming injustice is just amazing what the civil rights movement accomplished in the 60s with love. Literally going to jail rather than submitting to the oppressive system that was being inflicted upon blacks in this country. And in my lifetime, we've always been, I think, in this country, with our values, taking steps forward on that path to a more perfect union and justice for all. And really, in my lifetime, Donald Trump is the first president who has come in with an agenda to try to destroy our institutions and to take us back to a period of oppression, and literally with statements like the only good Democrat's a dead Democrat. I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous. And so as a lawyer, I always used to tell my clients that in the United States, we don't have justice for all, but we do have an opportunity for justice in this country, which is unique in many ways in the world. And I think politically, it's the same message, that we haven't acted in a way to bring justice to all the time. And we've done things that in the world that I'm not proud of, for example, the Vietnam War or the Iraq War most recently. But having said that, I think the country in my lifetime until Donald Trump has always been moving forward with its quest on that more perfect union and rights for all. And Joe Biden is the perfect person to get us back on that path of love, making the world a better place for human rights and for all, and caring with a heart for those, like you've talked about, that are impoverished and so needy in the world. So I'm excited that we will elect Joe Biden and get back on that path to helping the world move forward on these goals.
We're talking to John Cabanis. He is in Wisconsin, a very important state that we're going to see how important it is in a very few days during these elections. So far, the polls are very close, but we don't care much about the polls. What we want is a positive change in your country, and the people to exercise the right to vote in what is in many ways a much perfect democracy than the one we exercise here in Spain, because we have this way of representation through parties that we cannot choose the people that we that represent us locally and generally. And it is different in the United States. You can really choose your representatives for the Congress and for the Senate directly, choosing a person. And now you are choosing a person as a president. No, we choose parties, and that is a bit of imperfect still. And we're trying also to change our constitution in that way, so we can really elevate the meaning of democracy, and taking advantage now of the possibilities that technology offers us, have a more agile democracy and representation through the connected devices, something that in some countries people is already enjoying. We will see. Hopefully it will come. But I wanted to ask you, and invite also Jesus to join us in the conversation. If don't you think, John and Jesus, friends, that it is about time that we recognize our inherited burden that we should fix? I'm talking about concretely now in the United States, but also here in Europe. In the United States, all the suffering afflicted to the black people. Isn't about time to amend that, and to say that, of course, everyone has the right and has to the possibility, should have the possibility to exercise their human rights. But because what happened, because the terrible abuse of people during the last 100 years in the United States, that only for being a descendant of the Africans tortured in the United States and abused in the United States, everyone should have free education. Everyone should have free health care. and the rest of us should pay for it. And here in Europe, the same. Every African. Of course, we're sending loads of money to help the development with all the problems that carries. But automatically, anyone that is descendant from the people that we've been abusing for centuries, that person should have the education for free, at least the education for free, and the healthcare for free. What do you think about this proposal, John?
I'm all in favor of it. Our healthcare system is indefensible. We spend more per capita on healthcare than I think any country in the world. And if you apply World Healthcare metrics to the quality of our healthcare in the United States, I think we're about 55th. It's an embarrassment. The reality is, economically, in the United States, we have a huge divide between the people who have money and the people who don't. And that carries over to our healthcare system. We have the best healthcare system in the world for people who have money. And we have about the 55th best healthcare system in the world for people who don't. And it's absolutely inhuman that in many states in the United States, there are 25% of people who are uninsured, and they have to go to emergency rooms to get their just primary care. It's time that the United States recognize that healthcare is a universal right and provided that to all its citizens and non-citizens who are here, for that matter. So, and the election of Joe Biden will be a step in that direction. It's going to take many years to get to the point where we just have a national healthcare system here in the United States. But the next step is the one which I think is doable, is universal healthcare. Let people keep their private insurance, but people who don't have insurance, we're going to provide them their insurance. And that's what Joe Biden is proposing to do.
In the 70s, we didn't know, and we adapted. We had resources to feed all humans on planet Earth. But we surpassed that doubt, and we know there is plenty for everyone to live in peace and in harmony, and also supported by the developments of the technology now transforming the energy from renewable sources. There is no end to it. We're stepping into the age of abundance for all, that many of us from a long time ago are enjoying. But we want everyone to enjoy it and to have the minimum to exercise those human rights, to have access, of course, to live in peace and in harmony with food and drinkable water, to have access to the education and to health care, to have a proper home, to have a proper and decent job, and to move and express freely. And it is a fact. It is possible. We eradicated extreme poverty in many territories, but we know that we can do it everywhere. And it's a matter of getting rid of greediness and embracing love and enjoying this embracement of love, of sharing this possibility of living in peace and in harmony, Jesus.
Yes, we have the opportunity. Maybe don't have many people don't have the necessity, or they don't want to do that. But all the figures say that we have the capability to do that, and to be able to forget about this extreme poverty here in the world. Of course, it is also a political decision in some cases. It's not because you have the capacity that you will do the things, but that's why it's so important to be current when you are voting with the things that you want to obtain, and it's something that maybe we are seeing now in the United States. I'm not very sure that the voting system that you have in United States, John, is very proportional to the necessities or the things that people really want to have. But well, it's important to go step by step, and we have an end line that is 2030. 2030 will be the year to have this advanced in the world. It's a date that we agreed. All the countries agree about this date, and well, we should try. We should try, and I'm completely sure that we are not trying as much as it is possible for us.
We need the United States also to lead this positive change, Jesus, and hopefully with these elections we have a new partner, a better partner in this way. But this is something very, very new, and many of us still don't assimilate this possibility of living in peace, in harmony, in freedom everywhere in the world. Exercising the human rights everywhere in the world, and that we are able, as Jesus is saying, to eradicate extreme poverty even before 2030, in less than 10 years. It is very new, and it is very new. The country of the United States, only with a history of 200 years, based in this possibility of exercise freedom, but still, when you created your country, that freedom was only for a few, not for all, and a lot of reparation also to do with the indigenous people, our sisters and brothers of the Indians of America. Marlon Brando was very criticized when he started to raise that voice, even in the 70s, about that reparation, and that we shouldn't stop or start producing other kind of films that show the Indian Americans as the good people they are. Even for the childs that went to the cinemas to watch the movies where we saw those barbarians just killing people, and that's all, no? So many subjects still to repair and to go through in our community and in the United States in that sense. And I was saying that this is all very new, and many of us still don't assimilate this possibility. That is, our civilization is starting to be something once we recognize the human rights and we defend them for everyone, and also recognize that we have to preserve our nature for us and for the people to come. Those are the basic pillars of our civilization. That is something very new, and we make them stronger every day around the United Nations, which motto is peace, dignity, and equality on a healthy planet. It all makes sense now. John, Jesus, and I, we share more or less the same age. And when we were young, we wanted to believe, and we wanted to for everyone to live in peace and harmony, but we couldn't imagine that was possible. Now science tells us that this is possible. And now we all came together through our representatives to do it in what we call the Sustainable Development Goals, as Jesus just remember for all of us. Before 2030, we can make this a reality. Eradication of poverty and eradication of the dependence of the massive burning of fossil fuels. John?
Absolutely. And the good news is, I don't know if you picked up this news, in Spain, but Joe Biden just this past week at one of his speeches talked about the need to transition away from fossil fuels. So he's made that clear that it's a priority, as well as the eradication of poverty. And as you said, Ricardo, it's amazing the changes in our lifetime. I grew up in the South. I remember the separate bathrooms. I remember that back in the 60s, it was okay for a husband to beat up his wife. They wouldn't be taken to jail.
And making jokes out of it.
And making jokes out of it. And in 1964, when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the United States, the idea that we would have equal rights for women was a joke. So we've made a lot of progress, and we've come a long way. And it's really been heartening that we've had these incidents in America where blacks have been brutalized by police. Rodney King famously, and I believe it was the early 90s, and 5 years ago, 10 years ago, periodically these incidents have been in the press. But I can happily report that with George Floyd and these most recent incidents, the Black Lives Matter movement has inspired not only blacks but whites. In my neighborhood, we've got on my street, which is suburban and mostly white, there are a number of Black Lives Matter posters out. And when my wife Julie and I have been to marches, there have been many white people who are supporting the movement too. And that's new, and that's good, and that's a step forward on this road to recognizing we all have these universal rights. So we just have to elect Joe, and we'll be ready to go.
Sting, in his poem "Fragile," talk about the people born under an angry star. We want to both love, and we want to bring into the light these people born in the rising star. Let me share with you this poem that I this time, and for you, John and friends, Jesus, I'm going to sing to you.
Blood will flow when flesh is still one, drying in the color of the evening sun. Tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to cleanse the lifetime's argument that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on, the rain will fall like tears from the star, like tears from the star. On and on, the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
How fragile we are, and how capable of doing good things, John. Our praise, our positive thoughts our positive energy is with you during these elections. We're going to see what happens. And if Donald Trump gets elected, we're going to throw him love also, because I think he lacks that. And he wasn't, he didn't receive that love he should have when he was a kid, perhaps. And in any case, we will try with love with him again.
Like tears from the star, like tears from the star. On and on, the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
Estás escuchando Emisión Cero, el programa que impulsa el cambio positivo, con Ricardo Fraguas.
No human is illegal. Unbelievable, but we have to keep on reminding it. And, well, I just said that perhaps if Donald Trump gets elected, we try with love, but let's hope that we see some change. And it is your voice, John, to address all our friends that are following us also from the United States and outside the United States that are participating in these elections. The microphone is yours, John.
Ricardo, it's time to turn the page from American carnage to American hope. It's time that we turn the page authoritarianism and strongman to support and love for peoples all over the world. There's just going to be more humanitarian crises with climate change until we get to zero emissions, and it's going to be important for the United States to take a lead in caring for people who are displaced because of climate change, that are displaced because of war, to take a lead in helping peoples in the third world achieve sustainable lives, both with meaningful work, meaningful education, and providing for their food needs. So I'm very confident that love will prevail in this election, and that Joe Biden will be elected, and that we'll again be on that path forward to a more perfect union and to being a beacon of hope and inspiration for peoples around the world.
Those are the words of John Cabanis, and now we're going to listen also to the thoughts of and the good will of Jesus Valle for our sisters and brothers of the United States for these upcoming elections, Jesus. Jesus, can you hear us?
Yes.
The microphone is yours.
I hear you.
The microphone is yours. No, we cannot hear you. We lost you.
No, it's because
Okay,
here
now,
I am.
now, we have you back.
The microphone was mute.
Your message.
And I was trying to unmute.
No problem. Your message.
The message.
The
well,
message
it's
from
very
Jesus
clear.
Valle to our sisters and brothers of the United States.
I think that the system is very clear. They have to vote with the heart, thinking about the future. And something that I think that it will be very, very good is to forget about this kind of fighting that they having today. Something like, if you win, I will protest. I will not be comfortable if you win. I will go to the juries and these things. Let's vote in a simple manner with peace, conscientiously, and then the one who win, will be very well received, even if it's one part of the other, because the goal is to live all in peace. Many of us we have the sensation that something has to be changed in the United States. But if people in the United States decide other thing, well, nothing to say. But let them to vote with the heart, vote thinking what really they are doing. I told in this program this thing of the Chiqui Chiqui when we went to Eurovision contest. It is not a joke. It is something that will change the world in the future years, and the world in the future years will be very difficult because we have this pandemic. We have many goals to be achieved in the next 10 years. So it is not a joke. Try to do it as best as you can.
My message, choose to give sense to your life and choose in this time the vote of love. Let us get rid of greediness and embrace love and this possibility to enjoy, to really make ourselves happy of the privilege of helping each other, and in this way preserving the human rights for everyone and the respect for nature for us and the future generations. The Beatles said it very clear and very loud, and it's the music we normally use to say goodbye, is that all we need is love, John. Thank you very much for your words, for your time, and all our best wishes for you and for your family and for the family of the good people of the United States, John.
I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning, and abrazos y besos para todo España.
Muy bien, un español magnífico, fantastic Spanish. Jesús, muchas gracias por habernos acompañado.
Muchísimas gracias a vosotros, como todas las semanas. Un abrazo para todos y que tengamos una vida tranquila y sana.
Claro que sí, claro que sí. Lo mismo deseamos. John, tu español va francamente bien, ¿eh?
Sí.
Tenemos que hacer los programas en español pronto también. We have to do our programs in Spanish. You have to join us for the programs in Spanish.
Espero que sí.
Bueno, pues nuestros mejores deseos para la estupendísima gente que la hay y en millones en los Estados Unidos. All the best for all of you. We love you very much and we wish you the best, because if it goes good for you, go good for the rest of us. all we need is love. Que llevéis una vida saludable y sostenible. Have a happy and sustainable life. Bye bye. Take care.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.
Love
Siempre utilizamos, we always use this beautiful version. We recommend you the movie Across the Universe. And this is from that movie. All You Need Is Love.
All you need is love. All you need is love. Whoa, 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 whoa. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love.
All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. 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 Love is all you need.
Emisión Cero, con Ricardo Fraguas.